I really need a video that is gonna do well, like History of the Turks. You know, a completely original idea that is gonna show up first in search. Wait, I got it. Is there a connection between Semitic culture and Indo-European culture? Well, to start off, let's first define the two cultures. The Indo-Europeans first came out of what is today eastern Ukraine and western Russia during 4000 BC, according to the Kurgan hypothesis. The Indo-Europeans had spread far, like if you watch my History of the Turks, farther than that. By 1000 BC, they were the dominant culture in Scandinavia, Ireland, Spain, Anatolia, Iran, and northern India. And if you know anything about history, you know that many of these countries, especially the European ones, would go on to populate and influence basically the entire world. So what made these people such conquerors in the first place? Well, according to this article by Fjordman, I think that's how you say it. Wait, maybe it's like a fjord in Norway, so Fjordman? Anyway, milk was the answer. Cows had always been hunted and had been domesticated at this point too. But the Indo-Europeans were the first to say, hey, you see how that calf right there is drinking that milk? Yeah, well maybe we should too. I mean, it looks nutritious. And they were able to break down the lactose. Suddenly, cows had three purposes: food, clothing, and now a drink. This literally fueled the Indo-European expansion as they went on to conquer the land, and now all these areas speak a completely similar language. So remember to drink your milk, kids. It could help you become a dominant civilization one day. Now let's move on to the Semitic culture. According to Bayesian studies, Semitic culture started in the Levant in 3800 BC. By the 1st century, Semitic culture had spread up into southern Anatolia, Ethiopia, Arabia, and Iraq. The driving force for Semitic expansion would first be the Roman expulsion of the Jews. The Jews would later go on to spread all throughout Europe and the Middle East. But the largest and most significant expansion of the Semites came with the Arabs and Islam. Due to the Arab tribes having superior knowledge of desert warfare and camels, and through trade, they would be able to bring down and convert much of the world's civilizations to Islam. The Arabic language had also become dominant in North Africa by the fall of the Umayyad Caliphate. Now, before we get into the similarities between the two cultures, let's look at the differences. Okay, so an easy thing is Indo-Europeans write left to right, and Semites write right to left. Indo-Europeans, unless you're Iranian, use an alphabet. Semitic people use an abjad, which only has consonants. Semitics come from a desert, Indo-Europeans come from a grassland. Now let's get into some similarities. Both started off with many gods. Indo-Europeans were the only ones to have a civilization that retained it. That would be the Hindu people, by the way. Both like to conquer things. Now the most accurate way to find out if these cultures are alike would probably be genetics. Now you might be saying, how come these blue-eyed fair people are in the same group as dark-skinned Hindus from India, but the Spanish and Arabs are grouped into different groups? Well, guess what? The people in the groups that I talked about, they aren't necessarily genetically related. I mean, if you look at the haplogroup map, you can see a similarity with R1 being found in Europe and northern India. That makes sense. But at the same time, what the hell is R1A doing all the way down in Chad? Chad has no record of Indo-Europeans living in it. Okay, but what if we just went back to the beginning? You know, before there were even European and Middle Eastern people. Well, we all started off in Africa, so the people living there would be our starting group. Wait, what? Ancient human fossil found in Europe? Homo sapiens skull found in Morocco? Where did we even come from? Whoa, okay, this script is getting long. So in the end, we are all still human, and we are all still trying to find the answers, and there's no doubt both cultures affected each other. But for now, we will just have to keep searching. Thank you guys for watching and sticking to the end. This was a long one. Remember to subscribe for more videos. We've been on a 3-day streak.